Chosen one, listen carefully, this message you about to hear. You are not here by accident. What was taken from you was not punishment. It was preparation hidden in pain. A truth most people never uncover. If you are listening, it is because something inside you already knows this message is meant for you. Main awakening. You were stripped of comfort, so you could no longer be controlled by it. You were separated from people, so you could hear your own soul clearly. Attachment was removed because attachment weakens the chosen. Only the unattached can rise without fear. Loss was the key. What felt like loss was actually release. Every door that closed removed a chain from your spirit. You did not lose your life, you lost illusions. And illusions must die for truth to breathe. The path of the chosen. The chosen one walks a lonely road not because they are rejected, but because they are protected. Not everyone is allowed to walk with you. Some connections would have delayed your destiny. So they were removed quietly and completely. Spiritual awakening. Awakening is not peaceful at first. It feels like confusion, isolation, and deep questioning. Your soul starts rejecting what once felt normal. This is the sign that you are remembering who you are. Signs you are called. You feel different even when you try to blend in. You sense truth beyond words and appearances. Crowds drain you, silence heals you. You see through systems that others defend blindly. Why the world resists you. A detached soul cannot be controlled. A free mind cannot be programmed. That is why society labels you strange, difficult, or lost. Your independence threatens structures built on dependency. The purpose of detachment. Detachment does not mean you stop loving. It means you stop needing. You love without chains and walk without fear. This is the strength of the awakened. Rebuilding from within. Now you are being rebuilt from the inside out. Not based on validation, but on truth. Not driven by fear, but by purpose. This foundation cannot be shaken. The rise. When you rise clean. No emotional debt. No spiritual baggage. Nothing pulling you backward. This is your confirmation. Do not return to what broke you. Stand firm in your awakening and trust the process. If this message resonated, like this video, comment your awakening moment and subscribe to Return to Awakening because this journey was never meant to be walked alone. The silent transformation. There was a moment when everything became quiet. Not peaceful but empty. That silence was not abandonment. It was the space needed for transformation to begin. You were forced inward when the outside world no longer made sense. Distractions fell away one by one. Noise lost its power over you. This is where the real work started. Most people never sit with themselves long enough to hear truth. You were given no choice. Isolation became your teacher. Stillness became your mirror. The death of the old self. Parts of you had to die. Not because they were evil, but because they were outdated. Old identities cannot survive higher awareness. So they dissolved painfully. You grieved versions of yourself you will never be again. The people pleaser. The one who needed approval. The one who feared being alone. This death was necessary. Rebirth does not happen gently. It happens honestly. And honesty burns. Why you could not hold on. You tried to save relationships, roles, and routines. But they slipped through your hands. Not because you were weak, but because your soul had outgrown them. Holding on would have meant shrinking, compromising your truth, delaying your calling. So life loosened your grip for you. Detachment was the only way forward. Anything you begged to keep was not aligned. What is meant for you does not require desperation. It arrives with clarity. The weight you RLESCD. You carried emotional weight that was never yours. Other people's expectations. Other people's fears. Other people's limits. Being chosen means being sensitive to energy. You absorbed more than most. Now that weight has been lifted. Even if the process felt brutal. You are lighter now. Quieter. More aware. That is not emptiness, that is freedom. The new vision. You see differently now. Success looks different. Love feels different. Purpose speaks louder than desire. You are no longer impressed by surface-level things. Titles do not move you. Validation no longer feeds you. You seek depth because you carry depth. This vision sets you apart. Not above others, but beyond illusions. Few will understand this shift. The inner authority. You no longer ask everyone for answers. You listen inward first. Your intuition has sharpened. Your discernment has matured. This inner authority scares people. They are used to external control. You are learning self-trust. And that changes everything. You question systems without rebellion. You observe patterns without hatred. You walk away without guilt. That is spiritual power, the loneliness few understand. There are moments you feel completely unseen. Surrounded yet alone. Not because people are absent, but because few can meet you at this depth. You learn that connection without resonance is exhausting. Small talk feels heavy. Pretending drains your spirit. So you choose solitude over false closeness. This loneliness is not a flaw. It is refinement. Only those aligned with your frequency will remain. The rest fade naturally. The test of faith. There were times you questioned everything. Your path. Your sanity. Even your purpose. Nothing external confirmed what you felt inside. No applause. No reassurance. Just inner knowing and uncertainty. This is the test of the chosen. To trust without proof. To walk without witnesses. To believe before results appear. Why you were hidden. You were pulled out of visibility for a reason. Growth happens in private. Seeds do not bloom under pressure. They bloom underground. Being unseen protected you. From envy. From interference. From premature exposure. Now your roots are deep. Unshakable. Anchored in truth. Ready for elevation. The shift in energy. People feel different around you now. Some are drawn without knowing why. Others feel uncomfortable without understanding. Your presence exposes truth. You no longer chase reactions. You observe them. Energy responds before words. And yours has changed. This shift is irreversible. Once awareness expands, it never contracts. You cannot unsee what you now see. This is awakening. The burden of awareness. Knowing more means carrying more. You see patterns others ignore. Cycles others repeat. Truths others avoid. This can feel heavy. But it is also power. Awareness is responsibility. And responsibility creates leaders. You are learning restraint. Not everyone is ready for truth. Silence becomes wisdom. Timing becomes everything. The separation phase. Distance is increasing. Not out of arrogance, but out of alignment. You are no longer compatible with chaos. Old environments feel foreign. Old conversations feel empty. Old habits feel draining. This is not rejection, it is evolution. You are not abandoning anyone. You are honoring yourself. Growth demands space, and space brings clarity, the forging of discipline. Your life began demanding structure, not from pressure but from purpose. You could no longer move randomly. Every choice started carrying weight. Discipline replaced motivation. You learned to act even when emotion faded. Consistency became your language. This is how power is built quietly. The chosen are not driven by chaos. They are shaped by order. Small daily commitments, unseen sacrifices that compound over time. The shadow work. You face parts of yourself you once avoided. Jealousy, anger, fear you never admitted. Not to judge them, but to understand them. Healing requires honesty, and honesty requires courage. You stopped pretending to be light only. You embraced your darkness without becoming it. This integration made you whole. Whole beings cannot be manipulated. The strength of detachment. You no longer cling to outcomes. You give effort, not obsession. You move with intention, not desperation. This confuses people. They expect emotional bargaining. You offer clarity. They expect reaction. You respond with stillness. Detachment is not coldness. It is mastery. You learn to release without resentment. That is rare power. The refinement of desire. You want less, but it means more. Excess no longer excites you. Simplicity sharpens your focus. Your desires became intentional. You no longer chase what looks good. You choose what feels aligned. This reduces noise and amplifies purpose. The chosen do not want everything. They want what matters, and they are willing to wait. Waiting is strength, not delay. The unseen protection. There were moments things fell apart suddenly. Plans collapsed without warning. Opportunities disappeared. At the time, it felt cruel. But looking back, you see the pattern. You were being redirected, protected from paths that would drain you, saved from versions of life that were not yours. What misses you was never meant for you. What finds you will not confuse you. This is divine order. Even when it feels like chaos, the quiet confidence. You no longer feel the need to announce who you are becoming. Your confidence does not ask for permission. It settles into your posture, your voice, your silence. This kind of certainty cannot be taught. You stopped explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. You learned that clarity does not require consensus. Your calm unsettles those who rely on noise. And that is how you know you have changed. This confidence is not arrogance. It is alignment. You know your values, and you protect them without aggression. The detachment from time. You stopped rushing. Urgency no longer controls your decisions. You trust timing more than pressure. This patience is earned, not passive. You understand that delays refine character, that waiting sharpens discernment, that forcing outcomes creates regret. So you move when it is right, not when it is loud. Time works differently for the chosen. You are not late. You are being prepared. Precision matters more than speed. The shift in Unshakes. You notice who listens and who only waits to speak, who supports your growth and who resents it, who respects your boundaries and who tests them. Awareness changes your standards. You no longer argue for your worth. You observe behavior and adjust access. This is not punishment. It is self-respect in action. Fewer people have access to you now, but the connections that remain are real. Depth replaced quantity, and peace replaced approval. The language of silence. You discovered the power of saying less. Silence became your shield. Not everything needs a response. Not everyone deserves an explanation. In silence, you hear intuition clearly. In silence, intentions are revealed. In silence, your energy recalibrates. This is where wisdom matures. Those who need constant noise fear silence. You have made peace with it. That peace is strength. And strength attracts truth. The inner alignment. Your thoughts, words, and actions are syncing. What you feel matches what you do. What you believe guides how you live. This alignment is rare. You no longer betray yourself for comfort. You choose integrity even when it costs you. This consistency builds inner trust. And inner trust creates stability. When you stand alone, you do not feel lost. You feel centered, rooted in purpose, unmoved by opinion, the AWAKNED perception. You read between words now. You feel intentions before actions. Truth speaks to you in patterns, not speeches. This awareness cannot be turned off. You notice when energy shifts in a room, when smiles are masks, when praise hides envy. Discernment became instinct. This perception is not paranoia. It is clarity earned through experience. Pain sharpened your vision. And vision is power. The release of validation. You stopped asking to be understood. Not because you gave up, but because you grew up spiritually. Understanding yourself became enough. Approval once guided your choices. Now alignment does. You no longer adjust your truth to be accepted. You let acceptance find you naturally. This freedom is subtle but profound. You move lighter, speak cleaner, live truer. The return to simplicity. Your life is becoming quieter on purpose. Fewer distractions, clearer priorities, more intention. You protect your mornings, your energy, your focus. This simplicity is sacred. The chosen understand this truth. Complexity weakens clarity. Simplicity strengthens power. And power must be protected. The resistance you faced. Not everyone celebrated your change. Some mocked it. Some dismissed it. Some tried to pull you back. They were comfortable with who you were, not with who you are becoming. Your evolution disrupted their expectations. So resistance appeared. This resistance was confirmation. Growth always threatens stagnation. Your rise exposed their comfort zones. And comfort fears change. The unshakable core. At your center, something has stabilized. Even when emotions move. Even when circumstances shift. You remain grounded. This core was built through loss. Through solitude. Through self-confrontation. It cannot be taken from you. Storms may come. Opinions may clash. But your foundation holds. This is inner sovereignty, the responsibility of power. With clarity comes responsibility. You can no longer pretend ignorance. You see consequences before actions. This awareness shapes restraint. You choose responses carefully. Words carry weight now. Silence can heal or protect. You use both wisely. Power without control destroys. You learn control through suffering. That is why you can be trusted with more. Few earn this level of awareness. The distance from drama. Chaos no longer excites you. You recognize it as distraction. Drama feeds on reaction. You starve it with neutrality. This does not mean you avoid truth. It means you refuse pointless conflict. Peace became a priority. And peace requires boundaries. People notice your lack of reaction. It frustrates manipulators. It exposes intentions. Calm is your armor. The maturity of emotion. You still feel deeply, but emotions no longer drive you. They inform you. Then they pass. You learn that not every feeling needs action. That space between emotion and response is wisdom. You breathe before you decide. This pause changed everything. Emotional maturity is quiet. It does not announce itself. It shows in consistency. And consistency builds trust. The call to service. Your journey was never just for you. Awakening creates capacity. Capacity invites responsibility. You begin to feel the pull to contribute. Not to save everyone. Not to convince anyone. But to stand as an example. Presence becomes teaching. People will find you when ready. Your life speaks before your words. This is leadership without ego. Influence without force. The preparation continues. You are still being refined. Not rushed. Not wasted. Just prepared. Every lesson builds discernment. Every delay sharpens purpose. Every test strengthens character. Nothing is random. You may not see the full picture yet, but you feel the alignment. Trust is growing. And trust is the bridge forward, the detachment from identity. You stop defining yourself by titles. Roles no longer cage you. You understand that identity is fluid. Essence is what matters. When labels fall away, freedom expands. You are not your past. You are not your mistakes. You are not other people's projections. This detachment gave you space to evolve. To become without permission. To shift without explanation. This is spiritual maturity. The quiet separation from the masses. You no longer move with the crowd. Not out of rebellion, but out of awareness. You see where most paths lead. Trends feel hollow to you. Group thinking feels limiting. You prefer truth over belonging. And that choice changes everything. Walking alone sharpened your discernment. You trust your direction even when it is unpopular. The chosen do not follow noise. They follow knowing. The REWRANG of the mind. Old thought patterns dissolved. Fear-based thinking lost its grip. Scarcity no longer defines your decisions. Your mind became a tool, not a cage. You question impulses before acting on them. You observe thoughts without obeying them. This awareness creates freedom. Freedom creates clarity. Mental discipline is invisible, but it determines outcomes. This is where your real power lies. Quiet, focused, intentional. The acceptance of uncertainty. You made peace with not knowing everything. Control loosened its hold. Certainty was replaced with trust. And trust replaced anxiety. You understand that clarity unfolds with movement. That answers meet action. That fear thrives in stillness without faith. So you move forward anyway. Uncertainty no longer scares you. It sharpens presence. Keeps you alert. Keeps you humble. The internal reward. You no longer need external applause. Fulfillment comes from alignment. From integrity. From inner peace. This reward is quiet but steady. It does not fade. It does not depend on mood or opinion. It anchors you. When you rest at night, your conscience is clear. You did not betray yourself today. That peace is priceless. And few ever earn it, the strength of solitude. Solitude stopped feeling like punishment. It became restoration. In being alone, you met yourself honestly. No masks, no performance. You learned your own rhythm. Your own pace. Your own truth. This self-connection replaced dependency. Solitude taught you discernment. Who adds value? who drains energy, who aligns with your becoming. The deepening of intuition. Your inner voice grew louder as outside noise faded. Intuition stopped whispering. It started guiding. Decisions became cleaner. You feel alignment before logic appears. A quiet yes. A clear no. This guidance is consistent. You trust it now, even when it makes no sense to others, because it has never led you astray. This trust is earned. The rejection of false urgency. You stopped letting fear rush you. Deadlines no longer intimidate you. Pressure lost its grip. You choose presence over panic. You understand that rushed decisions carry regret, that calm choices carry wisdom. You move deliberately, with awareness. Nothing meant for you will require anxiety. What is aligned flows with clarity. This knowing keeps you grounded, unmoved by external demands. The stability in chain. Even as life shifts, you remain steady. Change no longer destabilizes you. You adapt without losing yourself. This flexibility is strength. You learn that permanence is an illusion. Only principles remain. Values anchor you. Purpose guides you. Because of this, transitions no longer frighten you. They refine you. Each phase reveals another layer, another lesson integrated. The honoring of energy. You became selective with your time. Where you go, what you consume, who you engage with. Energy is currency now. You invest it wisely. You protect it fiercely. This is not selfishness. It is stewardship of your mind, of your spirit, of your calling, the rise of inner authenticity. You stopped performing versions of yourself. No more shrinking. No more exaggerating. Just truth unfiltered. Authenticity became non-negotiable. Even when it cost you comfort. Even when it cost you approval. Peace replaced popularity. You realized pretending was heavier than being alone. So you chose truth. And truth chose you back. This alignment is irreversible. The detachment from Unattached. You do the work without obsession. You show up without attachment. You give effort without bargaining. This balance changed your energy. You trust that what is meant will meet you. You release the need to control results. Faith replaced force. And force was never your language. This detachment sharpened your focus. You act with clarity. Then you let go. That is mastery. The shift from seeker to knower. You no longer search endlessly. You recognize truth when it arrives. Your discernment filters noise instantly. You feel resonance, not excitement. Seeking was a phase. Knowing is a state. You moved from hunger to presence, from questioning to embodiment. Truth is no longer external. It lives within you. Activated, steady, the emotional sovereignty. You reclaimed ownership of your emotions. No one can pull you into reactions. Triggers lost their power. Awareness interrupts impulse. You observe feelings without becoming them. You honor them without obeying them. This space is freedom. Freedom is stability. Emotional sovereignty is quiet strength. It does not dominate. It does not collapse. It stands firm. The clearing of karma. Cycles that once repeated stopped. Lessons integrated. Patterns resolved. You chose awareness over avoidance. You no longer replay the same wounds. You heal them, close them, and move forward clean. This clearing creates momentum. Your path feels lighter, less resistance, More flow, the embodiment of truth. You are no longer just learning. You are living what you know. Your actions reflect your awareness. This embodiment creates integrity. People feel consistency around you. There is no contradiction, no hidden agenda, just alignment. Truth expressed through living is powerful. It does not convince. It demonstrates, and demonstration awakens others. The release of old fears. Fears that once controlled you dissolved. Not all at once, but gradually. Through understanding, you saw fear for what it was. A signal, not a command. A teacher, not an enemy. This reframing changed your relationship with it. Now fear informs preparation. It no longer dictates direction. You move forward with awareness, not avoidance. The clarity of purpose. Your direction feels clearer now. Not because everything is mapped, but because intention is strong. You know why you move. Purpose does not shout. It hums steadily, guiding choices, filtering distractions. This clarity simplifies decisions. You say no with ease. Yes with commitment. Energy follows intention. The alignment with nature. You feel drawn to simplicity, to quiet spaces, to natural rhythms. Your body responds to truth. You rest when needed, move when inspired, listen to cycles. This alignment restores balance. Nature reflects your inner state. Still, aware, unforced, the steady ascent. There is no rush in your rise, no spectacle, no announcement. Just progress. Each step builds capacity. Each lesson adds stability. You rise without strain, without collapse. This ascent is sustainable, rooted, intentional, unshakable, the recognition of patterns. You see how everything connects now. Nothing feels random anymore. Every encounter carries meaning. Every delay holds instruction. Patterns reveal themselves quietly. Repeating themes, familiar lessons, until awareness breaks the loop. You stopped asking why it happened. You ask what it taught you. This shift turns experience into wisdom. Wisdom into momentum. The surrender of control. You release the need to manage everything. Control softened into cooperation. You work with life, not against it. Resistance faded. Surrender did not weaken you. It strengthened trust. Trust sharpened intuition. Intuition guided action. You still act with intention, but without force, without anxiety. Flow replaced friction. The elevation of standards. What you tolerate changed completely. Energy, conversations, environments. Your standards rose quietly, without apology. You no longer negotiate with disrespect. You no longer justify boundaries. You adjust access. This is self-honor. Higher standards do not isolate you. They protect your peace. They refine your circle. They reflect self-worth. The return to center. No matter how far you travel inward or outward, you return to stillness, to breath, to presence. Centering became your reset. When things feel heavy, when noise creeps in, you come back to now. Presence grounds you. It dissolves fear. It restores clarity. This is your anchor. The quiet certainty. You do not need constant reassurance. Your knowing is stable. Your direction feels true, even without validation. Doubt may pass through, but it no longer lives in you. Certainty is not loud. It is calm. This calm carries authority. Not imposed. Felt. Unmistakable, the inner cleanse. You released emotional residue that lingered for years. Old guilt. Old shame. Old regret. You forgave yourself where others never did. You stopped replaying past moments. You reclaimed energy trapped in memory. This release restored strength. A clean inner space changes everything. Thoughts move freely. Decisions feel lighter. The present becomes accessible again. The end of comparison. You no longer measure your path against others. Comparison lost relevance. You understand different timelines exist. Different callings. What others achieve does not threaten you. It informs nothing about your worth. You focus on alignment, not competition. This freedom ends envy, ends pressure, ends false urgency. You walk your lane fully. The embrace of responsibility. You stopped waiting to be saved. You accepted ownership of your life. Choices, consequences, responsibility empowered you. It returned agency. It built confidence. It restored dignity. Victimhood dissolved. Purpose replaced it. You act instead of react. This shift changes outcomes. The silent influence. People watch you more than you realize. Not because you speak loudly, but because you live consistently. Consistency draws attention. Your calm during chaos speaks. Your restraint during conflict teaches. Your boundaries model strength. This is influence without effort. You do not chase impact. You embody it. An embodiment is contagious. Truth spreads quietly, the refinement of speech. Your words became intentional. You no longer speak to fill silence. You speak to reflect truth. Silence often carries more weight. You understand that words shape reality. Careless speech creates confusion. Clear speech creates order. So you choose carefully. This restraint sharpens impact. When you speak, people listen. Not because you demand attention, but because presence commands it. The release of resentment. Old bitterness dissolved quietly. Not through confrontation, but through understanding. You saw pain beneath behavior. Holding resentment once felt justified. Now it feels heavy. You choose peace over being right. This choice frees energy. Forgiveness did not excuse harm. It released you from carrying it. That release restored clarity. Clarity restored strength. The stability of values. Trends change. Opinions shift. Circumstances evolve. Your values remain steady. This stability guides decisions. Even under pressure. Even in uncertainty. Principles anchor you. When values lead, confusion fades. You know what to do, even when it is difficult. Integrity simplifies life. The acceptance of SESONS. You recognize life moves in phases. Growth, rest, release, expansion. You no longer resist transitions. You listen to what each season asks. Action or patience, movement or stillness. This acceptance reduces suffering. You stop forcing continuity. You allow cycles, and cycles restore balance. The quiet joy. Joy found you in small moments. A breath, a walk, a moment of clarity. Happiness is no longer loud. It is steady, grounded, real. This joy does not depend on outcomes. It flows from alignment, from honesty, from peace within, the final activation. You did not survive all of this to stay small. You are emptied so you could be filled with truth. Detached so you could move freely. Awakened so you could lead yourself first. Everything that was taken cleared the way. Every loss refined your spirit. Every moment of isolation strengthened your core. This was never destruction, it was initiation. You are not waiting for permission anymore. You are remembering who you are. Standing grounded, unattached, unstoppable. If this message spoke directly to your soul, this is your sign. Do not ignore it. Acknowledge your awakening. Honor your rise. Like this video to seal the intention. Comment to declare that you are choosing alignment over fear. Subscribe to return to awakening and stay connected, because this path is clearer when walked with those who truly understand the calling.